I got you this, mate.
A stress ball.
Just in case.
I'll sit on it.
Just in case you get a little bit stressed, mate. You
No,
can, you know.
I'm not stressed. Just a little bit out of my comfort zone, but not too far.
You've done all this before, mate. You know how it all works.
Well, I've got a rough idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've never done a podcast or anything. So
No, first time.
Yep,
That's why I got you in.
Yep, virgin, mate.
Yeah, we'll break that today.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah.
How you been, mate?
Yeah. Look, it's a wonderful world that we live in. I've had a fair bit going on, as you probably know, but you just got to keep your head up and keep going forward. There's nothing else you can do.
We haven't actually seen each other. Actually, no, the last time I saw you was, if you remember, I don't know how pissed you was.
You were playing somewhere.
I was playing in town and
Yeah.
I just saw this old bloke come up to me and give me the finger about 2 foot from my face.
Well, never been backward and coming forward, have I? But
And I said, security.
yeah, but it's a term of endearment, Adam. You know that.
Yeah, you had this big smile on your face.
Yeah, always, mate, always. You don't have to be serious all the time.
It was pretty funny though, just seeing you rock up.
Yeah. I can't remember where you were.
Brick Factory.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably 2 years ago, wasn't it?
It's a while. Yeah.
Every time someone comes here, they always say, when did I see you last? And I always say, about 2 years.
Yeah. Well, you're not very well liked, but anyway. I can't believe you haven't got the message by now, but anyway, not to worry.
When I first met you were keen as, and then the second time you're like, I don't know about this.
No, mate. Look, it's what brought us together, of course, was motorcycles.
Yeah.
And I've got to say that in my life, the most amount of people that I've met is through motorcycles, because that's what I do, as you know.
Yeah, well, I got into it. I first went to Cambridge in 2014, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And obviously I've still going. I try to get there every week.
Yeah.
And I've met, the bestest friends, and me and Perry are like that.
Yeah.
We've been good mates for 6-7 years.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know that. So
me and Perry are real close.
Yeah.
But all those guys that I met, 2015, 16, all the French boys and all that crew, none of them ride anymore. They've all got out of it.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you get married, have kids and all that stuff. Yeah.
And
so what happens, of course, invariably is as soon as they have kids and they want to ride, they'll be back.
Yeah, that's true. And I'll be still the old man.
Well, it's not too late to have kids, mate, but hope you're taping this in there. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where have you been? Where have you just come back from?
I've just come back from Greece. It's my little pilgrimage every year. I go back to the island of Kythera, where my family came from. My great-grandfather came to Australia in 1881.
Yeah, right.
Looking for a better way for his family, and we're still here. So what I say is Kythera is an island to the south of Greece. So what I say is I'm lucky enough to come from the most beautiful island in the southern hemisphere and the most beautiful in the northern.
Yeah, that's true.
So very lucky.
Yeah.
But so I spent 6 weeks there. Then I went to Croatia for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And here I am back again, 2 months.
When did you get back?
Sunday.
Yeah.
So I still haven't quite got over it yet.
Are you still in Acton?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. Same place?
I'm in the house I grew up in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I've been there once or twice.
Yeah, and in the shed and so you should play in there. Well, I'm going to get a plug in as we do. I'm turning my old shearing shed, which has been an institution for parties since I was 10 years old, into the first black dog men's shed in the country.
Yeah, right.
So Black Dog is my charity of choice.
Yeah.
And Men's Shed is just such a great thing for blokes to go to.
Yeah.
And our local pub shut, the old Cambridge Hotel, so there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. I've been approved by Men's Shed.
Yeah, nice.
And that's my next project.
Yeah. Wicked.
Yeah, so we'll have you down there for opening night. How's that sound? FOC, of course, because it's for charity.
Yep, 100%. I'll be there.
Yeah, and away we go.
Yep. Do open up with a bang.
Yep.
How'd you feel about the pub closing down?
It's not so much why, not so much how, but why.
Yeah.
So the guys that bought it told untruths to the owners and said they're going to keep it open.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And then they shut it.
Yeah.
And so the local Cambridge Acton lounge room that's been there for 150 years or whatever gone.
Yeah.
And it's just the way they did it.
Yeah.
If they'd have told the truth, they would never have sold it to them.
Yeah.
And we'd still be there.
Yeah.
So
it was a good pub.
Yeah. So all these blokes, the Black Dog thing and the men's shed, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
In the area, so it's made a lot of difference to a lot of people's lives.
So that's why you decided to do that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
one door closes, another opens, isn't it?
Well, it's the younger. It's not so much for the old farts like me. It's the 20 to 25-year-olds that used to go for Thursday, have a few beers and go home. They don't see each other anymore.
Yeah. What's the nearest one's probably Mornington, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's not the Cambridge.
Yeah, that's right.
It's good for a meal. Yeah, that's fine. But you don't go there for the camaraderie like you used to the good old country hotel.
Yeah.
As it was. So
yeah,
it's very sad. Well, here we go. I had my first ever beer underage in a hotel in 1975 when I was 15 at the Cambridge.
What year did it open? Let's see some trivia from you, mate.
I don't know. It was 1850 or 1860 or something. It was a long because it was originally a way station where they used to take coaches, and they used to be able to ride 9 miles or drive them 9 miles and then have to change horses. So they did it at the Cambridge, the Horseshoe.
Yeah.
So it's a heritage. Well, I don't know if it's a heritage antiquity.
Someone told me they put offices or something. It's just a big office now. Is that right?
I don't know, mate. I can't even drive past it without trying to throw a brick through the window. But I probably shouldn't say that. Probably be more appropriate to throw a horseshoe through the window. But I really don't know. It's just the way they went about it leaves a really sour taste in one's mouth. So just to harp on it, they said it'd be open. They'd stay open, and they did for one day. And just to save paying GST and then shut it and gone.
Do you know many of the staff there, like personally, that were there?
There was 36 staff that were there, so they all lost their jobs.
That's crazy.
So it's a lot of people, made a lot of difference in a lot of people's lives. And if they I'm a developer, if they want to develop housing, go and buy a vacant block and go for your life.
Yeah.
So it just didn't have to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm over it, as you can tell.
You can hear our music now. So this man doesn't need a introduction. Pretty well known around the towns of Cambridge and Acton and.
Oh well, when you grow up in the area and you spend all your life there, I suppose that's what happens.
You know what I'm most interested in, where it all started for you. Getting to motocross and stuff. That's one of the big important subjects. But I want to go back to. Because I don't. You can shed some light on this because I've heard. I don't know if it's true. You're about to tell me.
Maybe.
So I don't know whether it was your grandfather or beyond that. But did you originally own the airport?
Yes.
Land.
Yeah, my grandfather bought the property called Acton View in 1926. In about 5 years later, he bought Lanherne, which is where the airport is now. And then in 1945, the federal government acquired, by compulsory acquisition, I can tell you, 1,913 acres off him and built the airport. So he had a court case with him because they only offer you bugger all.
Yeah. And
he took him to the High Court and he won and he got his price, but they still take the land. So...
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather, Greg, he was a visionary. He was driving down, he had a farm at Carlton, and they were driving down the old highway, and they're just building the new Aero Club on the left-hand side, the little airport, and he looked and he said, air transport's the way of the future, and he looked across the other side of the road, and he bought all this flat land, so he bought it. He saw all this flat land, so he bought it, and and then I said 10 years later or thereabouts, they took it off him and built the airport.
So was the airport, was that obviously the only best place for the airport? Like, why did they...
Well, it was, geographically, it was the best location. It was close to the city. It was flat. It had water on one side and water on the other side. So in essence, it's perfect to build an airport.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so there's been 4 different compulsory acquisition requests on the property since then. in 1961, then again in 1995, and only recently, for me, I ended up in the High Court this year, trying to save the property from being taken away from me.
The where the track is?
Yeah, all of it.
That's crazy. It's just It's
when we were under lock and key in COVID, the Tasmanian government was back negotiating with the Chinese to build the gateway to Antarctica, and they can't build it on airport land because it's federal land. So they tried to stop me doing anything, so that one day they'd take it off me and build it there. But that's my firm belief. That's what they were going to do.
Yeah.
So
what were they actually fighting for? They took you to court, or you took them to court?
Well, they'd promised me an access so I could develop. And then when they built that stupid new road network, they took my access away. So I took them to court on reinstating my access.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still not completed yet. So I don't have my access, but they've agreed in principle. But, until you have it in your hand, you haven't got anything. So
the main highway that goes over?
Yep.
Is actually meant to be a ramp that comes down into your land. Is that right?
No, there was supposed to be an access off the roundabout on the airport side. They came straight into my place.
Yep.
It was called a left in, left out. So left into my place and then out onto the highway and back to the city.
Yep, now I get you.
So we were due to sign a document, I think it was 2021, and the day before they were due to sign, they pulled the pin. So there's something amiss there somewhere. So it's just... unfortunately, in this country, your land's not your own. It's not. So, but I don't think we'll ever know the full details of why they did it.
Yeah.
Only that they did it.
Yeah.
So it's a new thing. It's called regulatory taking. They downgrade your property by taking away your water and your sewer and your power and your access. And then they take it off you for about $10 and they reinstate it and magically do everything.
Yeah,
so
and there's big development on there.
Big development that doesn't include me. And we've been there in 2 years' time, we've been there for 100 years, my family. So why shouldn't we shouldn't we get something out of it?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's hard to believe in this day and age, in this country, that stuff can happen.
Yeah.
But it does.
So how many acres is left there?
Approximately 500.
Fuck, that's huge.
Well, we had it was 3,500 originally.
So the block where Cambridge is it obviously goes right back.
It goes right down the airport boundary, right down to Lanherne Golf Course, up to Royal Hobart Golf Course, and out to State Drive, and then Shellamith Drive, and then back again.
Fuck, that's huge.
Yeah. Well, it's big in the development of light industrial, but as a farm, it's tiny.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I said, it's nearly 100 years we've been there. So
your great grandfather had it. It's obviously come down to you.
So my grandfather bought it.
Yeah.
With his father.
Yeah.
And then my father lived and died on the property, and I probably will. Yeah. And now my oldest son Joe, he's taken over as a manager on there.
Yeah. Because
I've had enough. It's time to stop and time to relax a bit before you die.
Yeah. So I don't think you'll ever relax, but anyway.
Well, you know what I mean. Like the way that I look at it, I'm just the caretaker of the land for my family.
Yeah.
It's not mine to buy or sell. It's mine to do the best I can with. And now I have a new granddaughter who's 18 months old. Then it's my duty to protect that for her.
Yeah, yeah.
And
you got two sons, yeah?
Two sons, yes.
How old are
they? 30 and 34.
Yeah.
So as I said, Joe's just started working for me, and I've told him in 30 years' time you can be where I am, and then you can retire and get someone else to do it. But in the meantime, see you later.
So let's go back to where let's dive into motocross.
Yep.
How did the track become a thing? Walk me through the moment the dirt got laid there, and
it was a natural progression. So in the early 80s, like 81, 82, I think it was, we started having grass tracks there for Merck. And back then, we used to get 250 riders and 2,000 spectators, and because it's on the side of the highway, and it was a really good vantage point next to the airport, no noise restrictions, and it was a cash cow for Merck. So that's how it started. And then I suppose that went for more than 10 years. We grass tracked there once or twice or 3 times a year, dependent.
Yeah, exactly where the track is, or a bit down, was it?
In that main paddock, which was 50 acres.
Yeah,
either the top or the bottom or half, or mainly at the top.
Yeah.
And then there was a spate of motorcycle accidents. There was young Tiger Richardson got killed in the Mean Range. I used to race against his father Neil with his father Neil at the old Sanford motocross track back in the 70s. And then there was a young guy from McKillop who made a homemade ramp where the mountain bike park is now, opposite the Sun Valley, and he did one jump and died. And then there was a young guy who killed himself out at Granton. And I sort of thought then that what they need is somewhere to go. Yep. So you've got to be proactive and give them somewhere to ride.
And this is mid-'80s, is it, roughly?
Yes, mid-'80s. Yeah, a little bit later. It was probably about 1990 by then that I really got invested in building a facility there, a dirt bike park.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And it took about 5 years to get approved. I had to do acoustic engineers reports and visual engineers reports, and nobody would help me. Nobody would actually invest the time to understand that if you, I think I said in 1995, if you don't give kids somewhere to ride, they find somewhere that's usually illegal and always dangerous. So give them somewhere to ride. And the first guy was actually Will Hodgman. He came down for a come and try day, and he promised me that if he got elected to government, he'd sponsor some money, which he did. It was $40,000 a year, called the Trail Bike Initiative, and I shared that money with Motorcycling Tasmania, and all of the 8 clubs, I think it was then, around the state had all their insurances paid for the year under that grant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So...
And you didn't have to do that.
No, I could have kept... Well, the idea was to give it to me.
Yeah.
But, that would have been the wrong thing to do. And, it's just what you do. You know yourself, man. My love of motorcycling is all about riding and giving kids somewhere to ride.
Yeah.
So, yes, I could have kept it. They would have persecuted me, but it was the right thing to do. Yeah. And at last count... we got over, in my time on the board at Motorcycling Tasmania, we got over $200,000. That was, which in real terms is bugger all, considering if you have a mountain bike park, they'll give you $15 million next week to build, to extend it. Yeah. But motorcycles, they're noisy, they're smelly, people ride them where they shouldn't, and they're not interested. Yeah. But it was actually Will who said to me that during that election that he won, finally, the people couldn't care less about housing and education. They just wanted the noisy motorbikes over the back fence to shut up. So the only way to do that is to give them somewhere to ride. Yeah. So that's how it worked. And Vanessa Goodman and Jackie Petruspa at the time were right behind me. Yeah. And they're the ones who instigated the Trail Bike Initiative, and I believe it's still going to this day. So I've resigned from Motorcycling Tasmania now, but on the board. But I'd still like to keep an active interest in what's happening. Yeah.
And there's been, obviously, over the years, there's been a lot of people that have looked after the track. They've run it. You've had clubs there, and look, every year it changes, and
it works 2 ways. You get you've heard it. You get the parents that make their kids, at the end of the day, they've had a ride, and they make their kids come over and say, "Thank you so much for giving me somewhere to ride." And then the next one will come over and go, "I don't like the down ramp on jumping up number 4. Can you change it?" And I say, "Well, no, I can't."
It still happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the same day, they've gone the track's too long, too short, too rough, too smooth. The jumps are too big, too small. There's too many jumps and not enough jumps, and it's all on the same day. And in the end, after 30 years or whatever it was, in the end, I just used to say, or 25 years, if you don't like it, go home. You know?
You're not forcing them to be there.
No. And they just don't realise how lucky to have a track 15 minutes from the city. They are. It's the only one of its kind in the country.
Yeah. You know, obviously the bad weather, the track's been closed for 2 months.
Yep.
And, say Thursday will come and we'll get on Facebook and pray that it's open, but we know it's not going to be. It's obviously it only opened once, I think, on Sunday, but it's been closed for 2 months.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that because I've been away, but yeah.
Yeah, and so we've been riding down Perry's got just a little grass circuit track, very small. It's a 30-second track.
Yep.
So we've been down there about two or three times, but it's down Madonna, so it's 45-minute drive.
Yep.
And like you said, you don't realise what you got until it's gone.
Absolutely.
And for 2 months, it's been gone. And this is actually, believe it or not, in 10 years that I've been going to Cambridge, this 2 months, 2.5 months maybe, is the longest stint that I've ever not ridden at Cambridge in 10 years. Because
you've been a regular from day one.
Yep. I'm the only one that's really stuck at it, including the A-graders and the pro races. I'm the only one that's actually never stopped going.
Have you got any better?
I should get a... Oops. Do you remember when I won my championship, the C grade championship in 2018? I remember you yelled out, I got me trophy and me gift certificate.
Yep.
And I remember I did a little speech, and then all I hear from Greg is, about time.
Oh look, I can't believe that was me. Oh look, it's all in the fun. And it's always been in the fun of motorcycling. And the greatest thing about motorcycling is no matter how good you are, you can always improve and you can always get better.
Yeah.
There's never anyone in the world who can't improve next time they go out.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and the lasting friendships and it gets serious at times. I've never been in a track yet where I ever want to come second, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. But that's the nature of the beast. And the nature of the beast of the sport that we love is sometimes you get hurt.
Yeah.
But being at the track,
touch wood, I've never had any accidents.
Well, I won't say that, but I'll touch wood because I'm still riding. But it's a healthy lifestyle if people understand it. It's not just about making noise and we've had Australian junior champions that ran out of there, had their first rides there, as you know, and it makes me proud. Because it's not going to be there forever. It makes me proud of the amount of kids that I've taught to ride there, because parents can never teach them.
Yeah.
Because who listens to their parents? I never did, and they never did. But I always had the knack of getting a kid who was just about crying and wanted to go home. I always had the knack of getting them to come back with a smile on their face after they'd done one lap of the mini bike track.
Yeah.
So it's a great life. It's a life skill. Motorcycling is a life skill. And
it is. Yeah, 100%.
I'm just about to jump on the bike on the 28th of this month. I'm riding to Fremantle and back on the Black Dog ride. Last year I went to Alice Springs. Year before I went to Darwin.
So just tell me a bit more about that club. So is there a president? Or not? Doesn't really work like that.
It's not a club. It's an organisation. So there's a coordinator, my mate Jeremy, and I would be his. There's a couple of assistant coordinators, of which I'm one, and it's the Black Dog was obviously about men's mental health and motorcycles.
Yeah.
And it's about starting a conversation that might make a difference.
Yeah.
So it's I did Variety, the children's charity, for 20 years, and then I outgrew that, and then along came Black Dog, which is just sits with me perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing it.
Yeah. And so we talking like, Harleys and comfortable bikes? Are we talking sports bikes? Anything?
Anything. Doesn't matter what you ride, as if you ride that counts.
Yeah.
And
so how many go on the trip?
I'm just trying to think. When we went to Alice Springs, by the time all the bikes from Australia, there might have been 2,000 bikes that were there. So it's a big organisation, but it's not a club. It's an organisation.
Where's the home of this?
Well, it started in WA.
Yeah.
And so the national ride changes every year, but the 1 day ride, which we had this year, started in Hobart and finished in Scamander. We have a 6 day ride around Tassie that people come from all over Australia because everybody wants to ride Tasmania.
Yeah. And
then if you're really keen, an idiot like me, then you ride across Nullarbor and back.
Is there any assistance with costs of fuel and stuff and accommodation?
No.
It's all
all at your own cost. Yep. And the Black Dog is not a bucket rattling organisation, so the object is not to go out and raise money. The object is to create awareness, but it needs money to progress, so it's part of it. So you pay. Merchandise is the big thing. That makes the money. Selling of merchandise and the actual Black Dog themselves, the Winstons and.
Well, you can give a bit of plug. So look into that camera there and just tell them that they can go on Facebook and like the page. And
well, if you go on to the Black Dog Ride Tasmania, then I think there's only about 7 of us who are going from Tassie this year to WA. But I can guarantee you that out of all of the motorcycling organisations that I've been a part of for the last 50 years, then this is the one that suits my needs best, and I hope it would suit everyone else's as well.
Yeah,
it's a privilege and a pleasure to be part of such an organisation that does such good work.
Yeah.
And so simply, just start a conversation.
So did you have long-term friends before you got into it, or have you met friends in it?
Or both.
Yeah.
Both. I mean, my good mate Gary, we've been riding motorcycles around the world for 40 years. We did a lap of Greece last year. We've ridden across America. So he and I sort of, it's just what we do. He's retired now. I'm close.
Yeah.
And you need something to do that keeps your mind active. And so I give all the work to him and he does it. Then I just go for a ride.
Yeah. What bike? I should say bikes do you have? I bet you've got more than one, haven't you? But you got one up in one in every state.
Oh, well, no. I've slimmed down a bit. I've only got one in Sydney and one in Queensland. I've got a lowrider in Queensland. I've got a Rocket 3 in Sydney. I've got another Rocket 3 here. I've got 6 Harleys altogether, but I've got about 50 bikes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You got 50 bikes?
Mm-hmm. I've got a heap of bikes I raced in the 70s and trials bikes and Osses and Montesas and Bultacos and Thumpers. And
so what was your first dirt bike? Kawasaki?
It was a Suzuki A80 road bike with a knobby on the back. 1969. How
did you get into motocross?
Well, so I grew up on the farm, and I remember my dad coming to me. I was 8 or 9 years old, and he said, "Do you want a horse or a bike?" And he didn't want to give me any pleasure. He just wanted me to be a better tool on the farm.
Yeah.
And I said a bike, and because my elder sister had horses, and I'd smelly horrible things and scared the shit out of me, and that's how it started. And
you know what's fucking crazy about all that? Mm-hmm. That moment when you were 9 years old.
Yep.
If you had said a horse.
Yep.
I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. Cambridge would never have happened.
It could have been a completely different world.
That's fucking crazy that one split decision that you made at 9 years old has changed the lives of fucking...
Do you know, I still remember the first ride, and because Max Stevens had a bike shop in Moona, Max Stevens Motors, and he'd just moved down to Acton, and I went for a ride on this A80, A90, whatever it was, Suzuki. And I went up near the old tank stand. I still remember it. And I went over a bit of a lump of dirt and I pulled the front wheel about this far off the ground. And I thought it was Christmas on a stick. And what I say is that every single time I get on a motorcycle, it's still like the first time. And as long as that keeps happening, I'll keep riding.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Rocket across another board this year. The Rocket 3, I only got a small one. It's only 2,300 cc's, not the big one.
Fucking hell, Jesus. Not the big one.
They're 2,500.
Fuck.
And I just love it. People say, "Oh, isn't it boring across another board?" I say, "No, because I'm riding a motorcycle."
Yeah.
So it's just what I do. You know, it's just what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that and then from the Suzuki, they brought out the TM125. Before that was a TC90 with a hot up kit, or TS90 with a hot up kit, and they brought out the first of the Suzuki motocross bikes, a TM125, and I thought it was the most gorgeous looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
And you owned it?
And just gone from there. But I rode trials at the time too, which was, and I still maintain that every good motocrosser should ride trials to do, to get hand throttle coordination, eye control, and so I'm still doing it. I'm sick of going fast now, so I'm going to go back to competing going slow. So if I fall off, I'm doing 2, not 200.
And trials is all about that, isn't it?
It is,
It's
absolutely.
just about balance and...
Yeah, but it's still competition.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, as I said, if I'm sitting in a bus and a car goes past, I want to pass the bastard back again. I can't help it. I just want to pass everything I see,
I'm a bit like that, actually.
Yeah.
On the roads.
Yeah, pity you can't, but anyway.
I got a little bit better, mate. Got a bit better.
I'm sure. Look, you whip me now because I'm bloody, it's...
Oh, you know, Tony that runs the track?
Yep.
This is going back probably...
Tony Wells, yeah.
Tony Wells, yeah. So this is going back probably 2 years ago.
Yep.
I had a bit of a mouth off to him.
Oh, that's a big mistake.
Saying... I can't remember what it was now. I think I just said, you'd be slow on a bike, fucking mouthing off to us,
Yep.
And he got on the bike... Because someone said to me, I think it might have been, I forget who it was. Someone said, you big mistake, you shouldn't have said that. And I'm like, as if Tony can fucking ride, And he got on the bike and absolutely flogged the shit out of me. Like, embarrassed me. And from that day on, actually, I think there was a bet, I think it was a bet that if he bet me, I'd buy him a foot-long Subway.
Yep.
I still haven't brought it for him. So every time I go there, he always says, where the fuck's my foot-long? You're still like, But... Yeah, for a fucking, nearly 50-year-old man.
He was a very, very, very good rider.
Yeah, he still kind of got it. Yeah.
Well, I used to race against his old man Dave and I. So it's I've raced against Tony. The last time I would have raced him was at Bridgewater Speedway.
So how did you go in motocross? Was you better on the road bikes?
Oh, motocross wasn't my greatest. Enduros and. I won A-grade duels for, I don't know how many years in a row.
Yeah.
In Enduros. And in grass track, of course, my proudest moment was in the year 2000. I'd won A-grade for the year, and my eldest son Joe had won Pee-wees, and we're both on the
stand.
On the stand, one on the way.
Is there a photo of that?
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah, one on the way up and one on the way out, as I always used to say.
How old was you then?
Roughly 40.
And you won A-grade in
at 40, and I said Joe won Pee-wees.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Joe's the oldest one.
Yes, yeah.
Because I remember he rode a bit.
Yeah, he was a good rider. He
didn't ride much. So I never saw him much. Was he not interested or?
No. He did really well in the juniors. I think it was 2006. He was running top 10 in 250s in Australia.
Yeah.
And he had an accident down on the farm.
Right.
And I always say, to finish first you must finish. And Joe had the skills, but he didn't. He'd make a death-defying move that would either come off and make him look really good, or he'd be laying on the deck and hurt himself. So he was a very good rider. Yeah, he was. And Alex, the youngest one, his technique was perfect, but he didn't know where the throttle was. So which is the safest way to ride.
Did he race much?
No, not really. No. He only in juniors. Yeah. And then he got onto a KLX 125 or something. It did all right, but he wasn't really interested. Yeah. Not his bag. Yeah. So,
I was going to talk to you about, what do you think? Like maybe it will happen, maybe it never will. But what do you think about the Nationals ever coming to Hobart?
Well,
because I know it come up northwest track.
Well, sadly, I'd had negotiated with Kevin Williams to have a round of the Nationals at Cambridge, and the idea at the time was to come over to Tassie and have 2 rounds, one at Penguin and one in Hobart, and then COVID hit.
So it was going to happen.
Well, I had Kevin down at and he said it's the only race control in the country where you can see a hotel from standing in race control.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes from the city. He said the facility or the location was unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely prime location.
Pole position location anywhere in the country, he said.
And he inspected the track?
Yeah, he came down and
approved it?
Yeah, and then I said COVID hit, and then Kevin resigned or retired.
Right.
And then now it's, Motorcycling Australia have taken over the running of the Nationals, and I've lost my my drive, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because it would have been a hell of a lot of work, but worthwhile. It's just a pity that he'd come down, inspected the track, the facility, and said, yes, this will do, and then COVID hit. So
it fucked everything up.
Absolutely. Yeah, sadly.
So there's a small chance that it could happen in the future?
Well, not by me.
Yeah.
I've had enough now. It's I was on the Tasmanian Motorcycle Council. I was on Motorcycling Tasmania. I was on the Clarence City Council Trail Bike Working Group. I was part of the. I used to report to government on the Trail Bike Initiative and the whole thing, and then, once you lose your mojo with it, you just leave it.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, like I said, I've been going there. I try and get there every weekend, and your face is missed, I tell you. Because, like I said, it's only me and Perry that are sort of the regulars that have never stopped going.
Yep.
And we're surrounded by all these people that we don't talk to, and they just, people come and go all the time.
Well,
and it's.
I tried to make it, as you know, I tried to make it all inclusive, and you go and talk to everybody, and make them feel welcome.
Yeah.
And they want to come back next week. And it's not just because you want their custom, which you do, but they all need somewhere to go. And it's, for some unknown reason, they sort of all stand around in their groups thinking my dick's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
And they're all the same size, small. Buff round. But it's not a competition. You save your competitiveness for on the track. When you're off the track, you should go and help everybody. Yeah, that's just my opinion anyway.
I tell you what, it's not. I know what you're saying, and I agree, but it's not like that.
Mm.
It really isn't.
Well, it should be, and you sort of got to create that environment, and the only way to do it is start from the top and then do it, and then people catch on.
Yeah, and
they always say good day as you walk past, or how are you, or do you want a spark plug or whatever it is you need to do? Yeah. But so I haven't. It's sort of, Adam. Once you walk away, it's really hard to go back.
Yeah.
And I spent so many years of my life there, on the tractor and off the tractor and on the bobcat and doing this and telling people off and and coaching. I love coaching kids.
Yeah.
You're not the little smart-ass ones. I give them to someone else, but the ones who couldn't ride at all.
Steve Jenkins moved away? Yeah. You still keep in touch with him?
Yeah, I do, yeah. So what I used to like to do is, Steve, I just teach kids how to ride. And once they learned how to ride, then if they wanted to go racing, they go and train with Steve. If they didn't, they just go riding.
Yeah.
But I didn't I didn't want to have to put up... He had a very complete way of just addressing the kids without getting emotionally involved with them.
Yeah, 100%.
And he was really good at coaching.
Yeah.
But again, you got to fit the right kid to the right coach, or the right coach to the right kid. So he couldn't teach kids how to ride. He didn't have the patience.
Yeah.
But
he was a good coach. He taught me for 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, look, he was very, very, very. He was cruel but fair.
Yeah.
But...
So what are you fucking doing? What are you doing that for? What are you fucking doing that for? I didn't tell you to do that.
Yeah.
He'd go off at you.
Yeah.
When I first met him, because I basically jumped into a session.
Yeah.
I hadn't even met him. I think it might have been Max or someone just said, fucking just jump in, you'll be right,
Yeah.
I felt a bit rude, but I did it.
Yeah.
And then he just started coaching me, and he's fucking swearing at me and that, and I'm thinking, who the fuck's this fucking wanker, But then I talked to him a little bit more, and then I was like, oh, actually, you know what, this guy's fucking,
Yeah, he had his heart in the right spot.
Yeah.
I remember Steve and I we did a training course together. We did many together with kids, but we did one with Lee Hogan where we were actually on the bikes.
Oh, yeah.
And between him and I, we were so competitive, wanted to kill each other. I could, and but there's been a lot of coaches come and go.
Yeah.
But he had the ability to take a racer and turn him into a champion.
Yeah.
Which he did with quite a few different people. Yeah. Where I never had that patience to do that. I just want to get it right and then go and teach the next one.
Yeah.
And
as far as I know, at the moment, I don't think there's really a go-to coach anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if Darren Jenkins still coaches.
He does. I don't think he does that as a business, though. I think it's just word of mouth kind of thing. And
well, it's funny you say that because I was actually approached only a little while ago by a woman called Kat Kingsley, and she wants to start coaching girls at Cambridge because once upon a time there was a whole raft of girls that were riding.
Yeah.
And I told her that I would assist her to do kids, absolute novices who couldn't, because most of them would turn up and the gear lever would be up here and the brake lever would be down there and one foot peg would be up and one would be down and they'd reach in like a sick dog for the gear lever.
And I think that's normal and that's how they're learning.
That's exactly
the
right.
worst thing you can do.
Yeah, and poor old mum and dad didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
So we'd spend the first hour just setting their bike up for them so that they had a somewhat normal riding position.
Yeah.
And then away they go. But I'm going to promote Kat because to me, she's got the right attitude. She's girl power, which is fine. And go get them.
What's your opinion though? Like I've always thought, so pretty much in every sport, you got men's and women's classes, right? And that's for obvious reasons.
Yep.
But why is it that motocross, once you put the helmet on, me personally, I don't think it matters. How come the women don't race in the same class as the men's? Why is there a W?
I mean, that's I've got to be careful how I answer this, I suppose.
Do you know the answer though?
Well, diplomacy is not one of my things. It's mainly for safety.
I don't understand.
It's mainly for safety reasons because it's seen as being safer. As you know, normally in a grass track, for example, the women ride with the veterans. If they're going to combine a class, they ride with the vets because the vets are supposed to be safer, smarter, and not going to try and kill anyone. If you put the girls in C grade, not being rude to the C graders, but you can just imagine the carnage. They'd be all over the place.
Yeah, I understand that aspect, but what difference does it make in terms of a woman and a male? Like, once the helmet goes on and all the gear, how do you even tell the difference?
Well, Adam,
because I don't think muscle comes into it or size and physical ability.
I think you need to go back to the birds and the bees book, mate, if you can't work that one out. But look, I don't make I understand what you say. I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
Personally, at this age in my life, I wouldn't want to race with the girls because I get beaten by them. But I know what you mean. It's the way I'd be thinking about it is how can we create enough interest to girls so they do have a class of their own.
Yeah.
Because I think it's for the safety of the girls not to be taken out by a boy being a dickhead.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way I would read it anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think the last couple of races that I've been to at Cambridge, there hasn't been a single girl racing all day.
Well, it's a confidence thing, and that's, I think if you want to answer the question why don't they race together, it's a confidence thing, and the girls prefer to race against girls.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's the same as putting us in classes. If we rode against the professionals and they, in a 4-lap race they'd lapped us in the first lap, or after 2, then that's what it's about. Because as you know, it's not always about winning. It's about getting out there and having a crack.
Yeah.
And because motorcycling is just such a good sport that I've never put anyone on the back of my bike and scared them intentionally.
Yeah.
Because I love motorcycling that much that I want them to enjoy the ride as well.
Yeah.
And get back on again next time.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the girls. So, you know, but
Yeah.
maybe in short, because there used to be like 15 or so girls that used to ride.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. But it's the same as that. It's that little click, like, and like you said, when they have kids, Danny Young, obviously he's got a couple of kids now. I mean, he still makes it. Like, he's one of the only ones that's got a full family now. He's got a full-time job and, you know, flat out, but he still makes every race.
Yeah, but he's also a young as well, and he comes from a family of motorcyclists. And when I owned a bike shop, if I wanted to buy something, I'd just go and ask Bob. Yeah. What do I need, Bob? And he'd say, do this, and I'd say, okay, and that was it. Yeah. So, you know, you get your motorcycle tragics.
Did you race Bob back in the
day? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Did
you beat him or not?
Oh, I can't comment on that. well, I was.
I'm going to ask Bob when I see him next.
I was veteran champion for 5 years in a row or something, so I must have beaten him at some stage. Let's say that. Fair enough. So in grass tracks.
Yeah,
you know, and he didn't. He didn't really do enduros. He just used to ride solo and just do laps. Whereas, I loved riding duels in enduros. Yeah, it was a magnificent sport. Yeah, but
how do you feel about, you know, obviously having Cambridge and given somewhere for people to ride?
Yep.
And then, you know, these young kids and that grow up and actually, like Cooper Ford won the Australian Supercross Championship last year.
Yeah, well, he's a 2 or 3 time now Australian junior champion.
And we'll probably go on to do it this year. And
well, I remember, so 40 was a good rider. Stu, he was a good A grader. And
I never knew that.
Yeah, and I remember him, he bought Cooper his first bike, which is a Pee Wee 50 and a pair of boots, and it cost him $400. And a few years later, he's got 3 bikes lined up, and his missus had to go back to work for Cooper's race. And then he said it was all so simple because it was just a Pee Wee 50 and a pair of boots, you know. But I've got to say that Cooper is, I remember when he won his first Australian championship, he didn't even want to wait for the presentation. He didn't want to go and build sandcastles and pretend he was a dirt bike and jump over them. It's just
it's crazy, isn't it?
He's a cheeky little shit. Yeah, but he's just you know, some of them, their head gets so big they can't fit it inside the helmet. Yeah, and he's just got this. He gets it, you know, from his parents.
Yeah, he's still very shy, isn't he?
Yeah, and I keep saying this too, that for a kid to be a successful racer, you need both parents behind it. Yeah, you can't just have dad taking the, you know, it. To do what they've done and travel all over Australia and, you know, and at great expense, it takes both parents to want to do it and make sacrifices, and good luck to them. Yeah, and they you know, they're getting the chocolates. So
do you follow the American motocross and anything like that, MXGP?
Look, not as much as I used to.
Yeah, it doesn't interest you much.
Well, it does, but it's sort of like and I used to tell people this all the time when I was coaching, that instead of watching the racing for the racing, you watch the racing to see what the riders are doing. Yeah. And what their technique is and how they're tackling this jump and that, you know. Yeah. And it creates a whole different world. You watch the race and it's much more interesting than just seeing who's winning.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I don't... I've just put my name down. I'm still a level 3 official. I do a grass track or enduro for Merck every now and then as steward or clerk. I did the Spoke Motorcycle Festival last year as steward. Yeah. I've just put my name down to do the Australian Motocross Supercross series if they want more officials.
Have you?
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah. So I like to keep into it that way.
So if they need someone, they'll call you, or how does that work?
Well, you put your name down, and so I'm a level 3 that's, you know, suitable for motocross and supercross. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah. So I mean, Shane Fraser's level 4, of course. He's but he's just hurt himself. So we'll see. Yeah. You know, I've
that'd be good to see you on the big screen. I think I'm planning to go to a race.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Race. Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. I was starter at the the junior nationals at Penguin a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
So it's just what you do. You know, you put back into the sport. First thing is, if you don't like the rules, get in and help make them or shut up.
Yeah.
And always put something back in.
Yeah.
Because I'm still getting stuff out of it. You know, but I went to the MRA AGM last night and put my name down to help them do the toy run this year because they're struggling for numbers. So it's a genuine love of motorcycles.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm nowhere near on your level, but I'm passionate about motocross.
Yeah, yep.
And I have been ever since I went there.
Yeah.
And it's just something about Cambridge as well. Like, I moved to Brisbane for 6 months and went to 2 tracks over there.
Yep.
And one was shit. I hated it. But the other one was very, very much like Cambridge.
Yeah, okay.
Almost identical, a bit longer, but same style of jumps and same atmosphere, and I absolutely loved it. And then obviously moved back, but I couldn't imagine not having a motorbike. I just couldn't imagine it.
Look, there's never been a time in my life since that first ride where I've never had a bike.
Yeah.
Never ever.
Yeah.
And it's motorcycle riding's taken me all over the world, pleasure riding, all, you know. I took my 2 sons across America to Sturgis a few years ago. We left out of Vegas, we left out of LA, went across the Mojave Desert, went to Vegas, and we ended up in a Cheyenne Indian reservation in Montana. So work that one out.
So motocross really has taken you fucking all over the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Literally.
Yeah. But that was a pleasure ride. But it's you know, Sturgis is the biggest motorcycle rally in the world. Yeah. So if you're an avid motorcyclist, you got to go there. Yeah. And if you go once, you want to go back again. So
have you suffered any major injuries, big surgeries, anything like due to motocross?
No. I've only ever broken. Well, my back's knackered because, you know, when I first started, you had bloody 150 milli suspension at the front and 100 at the back, you know. But no, in all that time, I mean, I've knocked myself out a few times. Yeah. But I've only ever broken 2 ribs twice.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Shit, that's good.
I popped a muscle in my shoulder, but nothing. I've never broken anything else. No.
And you got pretty good knees.
The knees are okay.
You didn't limp in here, so
no. The knees are okay, but so just to fill in, I went to the chiropractor Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I went to the gym Monday, Tuesday, and I'm going to bone therapy tomorrow, and just to keep me going because my back's naked. But
overall, you're doing pretty good.
Well, you know, my old father-in-law who passed away this year, he was 93. He used to say that when you're young, you know, funerals go past like telephone poles, and once you get older, they go past like a picket fence. Yeah. And I lost one of my really good mates only a month ago, Rob, who worked for me for 10 years.
I saw that, and I knew Rob, yeah.
Yeah, and so
I didn't think it was the same Rob, and I went to his Facebook and saw comments, and I thought, oh, shit.
Yeah.
He was really good down the track
absolutely
years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I would have a chat. And so he and I used to ride TT 500s in the 70s. So he's been a mate of mine for a long time. Yeah. So the answer to the story is do it while you can. Yeah. You know, he was a few years older than me. Yeah. Diagnosed with lung cancer, and 5 weeks later he was his funeral. 5 weeks. Yeah. Like that's just. I'm still coming to grips with it. Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable.
So when did you see him last?
Just before I went away. Yeah. I just gave him a call as I do. Yeah. And we had the good a conversation with Rob. Started with a firing order of a HD Holden and finished with the feeding habits of Russian migratory birds. You know? So we had a normal conversation. Yeah. And he let me know what was going on. Yeah. And he said, you know, and then said a month later, Ruth let me know that he's bloody on his deathbed, which is just incredible. Yeah. So it's just, I say again, mate, just do it while you can. Yeah. You know, if you think you want to do it, then do everything you can because you won't be able to do it later on. Yeah, yeah. So it's but there's another one. Effectively, Rob and I met through motorcycles.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and we were lifelong mates. So it's just one of many.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, my plan is, because I haven't raced long before COVID, so maybe 2019 was my last race, I think.
Yep.
But I'm planning on doing a full season next year.
Okay, motocross?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just want to get, and like, mainly for what you just said, I just want to do it while I can.
Just do it.
I don't really care too much about results. Like, I'm not coaching. I'm not really actively trying to get better at the moment. I'm just casually going every weekend because I love it. But just want to race just while I can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And
it's just you got to make a conscious decision, as you just said, that, you know, if you're going to race, then do it properly.
Yeah.
And as you said, you know, you don't have to win every single race, but you just want to compete and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it.
Hopefully I'll see. Am I going to see you at a couple of races or not?
Look, I nearly did a couple of grass tracks this year because I'm sort of thinking, I'm 64 now, so I'm sort of thinking, you know, I'm fit enough. If I don't have a crack at it, then the day will come when I can't. You know, and
Perry's still giving me a run for my money, and he's 62.
Yeah.
And I don't see him slowing down anytime soon.
Is he? He stays pretty fit, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's just not lucky enough to be naturally athletic like me, of course. But yeah, look, motocross isn't. I'd prefer to do enduros and grass tracks. I always have.
Yeah.
Trials riding's fun. At the Spoke Festival, not last year, the year before, I won the drag race and run the bloody slalom and won the slow race. So all at the same time. So
have you got a cabinet at home with trophies and stuff over the years?
Oh, look, I don't know what to say, mate. I used to throw boxes of them out every now and then, but I've still got ones that I've still got the trophies of Joe and I in 2000.
Oh yeah,
you know, and so I've kept a few, or A grade series or veteran series or whatever. I've kept a few.
Yeah.
I wish I had it now, because when I set up my Black Dog Ben shed, it would have been nice to have all these trophies on the wall.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose. Oh, look, I've still got one or two. I don't know, 100, 200. I don't know.
So this is what I mean. Like people like you, and I've been to a few houses where went to Perry's shack a few weeks ago.
Yep.
This whole shack, lounge room is full of them. All you know, just not really on display, but just dust and not really, bit broken and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just admiring every trophy, trying to see the years and stuff. And I just thought, he doesn't give a shit. And I thought, I've got one trophy. In my 10 years of riding motorbikes, I've got one.
And I banged the shit out of you when you got it.
And you're there throwing them out.
Well, they used to give them away a lot easier. Then it was I don't know, mate. I suppose that I've always enjoyed riding, and I've always enjoyed riding as fast as I can. And for whatever reason, I just seem to be able to ride, and that's it. You know, and it's but I've also picked the sports, the ones that I like. So I said motocross was never really my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do
I thought it was.
Yeah, no, but I prefer a grass track, mate. I prefer a 5-minute sprint, and I've always been a mud runner. The wetter,
That's funny. I've never done a grass track ever.
Well, see, what you should be thinking is, righto, Kazza, get your bike on the back and we'll go and do a grass track series.
When's the next one?
They've got one.
They just had one, or I did see the poster come up.
Well, I think they've got a overnighter coming up down at Kellervie or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
But we'll have to wait till next year, mate.
Yeah, right. Done.
We'll have to, but it's
that's on record now.
Yeah.
We're gonna have one race together.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So
I'll be in vets too by then. I'm 36.
Fucking vets. Fuck, mate. I don't know.
What do you think about vets? Back in the day, vets was like 50 plus. Now it just goes down and down and down.
36. You haven't even got even your big toe at 36, mate. You know, what would be nice, and I'm quite serious about it. What would be nice is, again, a grass track's not, you know, it's not Formula One and it's not MotoGP. It's having fun at a grass track.
Yeah.
If they want older riders to continue, then they should have. They can have even in the same class, but 30, 40, 50, 60.
In the one or separate?
Yeah,
in the one. Yeah,
because you can't. There's no way that that a 64-year-old can compete against a 36. 30 years difference.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean. Like, jeez. So, but again, if you don't like the rules, get in and help make them or shut up. So, some of the clubs have their own, way of doing things where they have, I call them veterans and super veterans.
Yeah.
Which is maybe over 60, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have a crack.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I've still got what I've got, like 2000. Well, what I like to do, I've got all these dinosaur bikes now.
Like, no, I don't want that to be your excuse.
No. I was going to come kick your ass on the dinosaur.
What's the latest model motocross bike you've got?
2012.
Oh yeah.
My KX 450.
That'll do.
That'll still go all right.
That'll still scrutiny, will it, or what?
Yeah, of course. It's been ridden by a little old man on Sundays, mate. I only go to church and back in Cambridge.
Hey, what's your opinion? Like, complete unbiased opinion.
Yep.
Where do you think? I wouldn't say MTAS, but where do you think motocross in general will be in 10 years? Well, it's not that far away, really. 10 to 20 years, maybe.
Look, it's almost impossible to know, but it's going to happen, and you can see it happening, that it's going to be on electric bikes. And whilst I'm a petrol head and always will be, I can understand the differences of riding electric bikes. I remember doing officiating the Supercross at the deck, and by the end of the night, with all the two-strokes in, you couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And there'll be no noise complaints from the neighbours, and that's the big thing, because they don't make any noise.
Yeah.
I sincerely hope that the MTASs of the world and the MAs and I just hope they continue to go back to what their core business is, which is to foster and encourage motorcycle. I think the MTAS mantra is to foster and encourage motorcycle riding, racing, recreation.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
It's not all about, for a guy to win a race, somebody has to come last. So it's not all about the winners. It's exactly the same as Cambridge, as I've tried to get everybody. Doesn't matter if you're a champion or a shit kicker, you treat them all the same.
Yeah, that's right. Because without those shit kickers, there's no race.
As I said, someone has to come last for someone to come first. So it worries me, the insurance side of it all, which is, it would be easier in Australia if we signed an indemnity that actually indemnified the race provider.
Yeah.
But we don't. So I don't know if you know the story, but many, many, many years ago, Merck had a grass track at Cambridge. I was on my WR500, so I was 90-something. And there was I used to ride quads back then, race quads. They were fantastic to watch. Yeah. And they let this old farm bike run. And, what could possibly go wrong, in the quads. And he was coming last, so I lapped him, and he fell off. And the bike was laying on its side and the throttle stuck on, riderless, and it did a couple of laps, and it stood itself up, and it went up the start straight in the wrong direction and launched off the start gate into the pits, riderless.
And they're heavy too, those farm bikes.
And the Pee-wees were on the start line. It was just, could have been catastrophic. And it was then, because Merck was a black club then.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was then that I said, that's it. There's no more.
And what would have happened if that had killed a 7-year-old kid?
Well, what would have happened is that the parents would probably try and sue the club who didn't have any money, and the organisation, and then failing that, they'd sue the landowner.
Yeah.
And so that just stopped, and then, so all these people who whinge and complain about paying, I don't know what a licence is now, $400 a year for a full comp licence,
We might have different opinions on that, but honestly, I'll be honest with you. So when you said that, a lot of people, you can't please everyone. You'll get people that will love it and say thanks, and you'll get people that will whinge about everything.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
And that still happens. And the one thing that I wouldn't say I've complained about, because it's never really been an issue for me, but I've been riding at Cambridge for 10 years and I've been involved in it for 10 years, which is a long enough time to have an opinion.
Yep. Yeah, of course.
And the biggest thing that people complain about and that stops them coming back is the price of everything.
Yep. Not
so much recreational, I think it's $45 or $40 to ride at Cambridge, which is, I think, perfectly fine. That's a good price.
Yep.
But when it comes to racing, it used to be $60 would get you the whole day and be done.
Yep.
And now it's upwards of $130, and then $10 for every class that you enter.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like,
so I've been out of it for a few years, so yeah.
You don't get much change out of $200
just to race.
Just to race.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So look, that's a lot for a day's racing.
It is, yeah.
I understand why it happens, because that money essentially goes to Motorcycling Tasmania and Motorcycling Australia. It doesn't bugger all of it goes to the club.
Yeah.
I don't know how you reduce the price and make it safe. That's the thing, As I said, as a landowner who put his property up for 10 years, that one incident changed the face of racing for me down in Cambridge.
Yeah.
And that's when we had to go MTAS or MA.
Yeah.
And I've never looked back from that, because there's a set of rules for everything.
Yeah.
But $200 to go racing for a day, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all got to do with insurance, and the insurance is just, it goes up and up and up and gives you less and less and less. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say. I think that at the moment, I think that MTAS has been run well. I do, and I think the problem is at Motorcycling Australia level, where, like any big organisation, they've got too many chiefs at the top, and they're the ones who are taking all the cash. That's the way, that's the way I see it. Yeah. So, and now I'm not part of it, I can say whatever I like.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
you might not have said all that a few years ago.
Well, yes, you sort of. I mean, MTAS have always been the scapegoat that's always their fault for everything. I was on the executive committee twice. It's not their fault, and that's when I used to say to people all the time, "Man, if you don't like the rules, get in, help make them, or shut up."
Yeah.
And or have you volunteered today? No, well, shut up.
Yeah.
That's it. It's as simple as that. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So again, I knew that the MRA was short of numbers. I heard, so I went to the AGM last night and put my hand down, and to get a heap of Black Dog riders, and I'm in another group called the Direct Debit Bandits who raise money for Black Dog, and to help them out.
Yeah.
So just on that, this Direct Debit Bandits was started by a group up north, and they raise money for the Black Dog, and they just chuck in $5 a week, the cost of a coffee, one coffee per week. And last year, if I'm not mistaken, they'd raised over $120,000 for Black Dog. So,
that's crazy.
Just such a simple fundraising thing that's so successful. And the other thing is that in my time at MTAS, I went and did the grants writing masterclass So there's all these grants out there that people whinge and moan about having, but nobody ever does anything. So again, we used to say, what have you done for the club today? And they say, well, we raced. Well, no. So you pull your finger out and go and do something constructive. And then if it doesn't work, complain.
And so just one last thing I've got to say about this and ask you a question is...
Yes, mate.
What do you... And because obviously you've been out of it, so you probably wouldn't know, but it's probably going to be a thing that's always going to happen is when you race, you've got to bring a flaggy.
Yep.
And obviously, especially Hobart being so small and limited, they obviously need as much help as they can get.
Yep.
So in the last couple of years, they've actually fined you for not bringing flaggies. So if you don't bring a flag, it's $30.
Yep.
What's your opinion of that?
Oh God, look, it's another such a tough. In my time in the sport, we've tried everything to get flaggies. We've had scout organisations, for example, or to bring all their people down and they get paid for the day and do the flagging. It's I wanted to test the use of lights at motocross tracks. So you have a guy up in the eagle's nest, and when there's an accident, you press the red light or the yellow light or the green light. It's always going to be a problem, always, because you need flaggies for safety.
Yeah.
And as you know, that's safety is the number one priority. But how you, apart from bring your own, and apart from pay more to pay someone else to do it, I'm out of suggestions, mate.
Yeah.
It's always been a problem, but also,
see, I mean, the nationals are obviously on a bigger scale, but
yes.
the nationals and Supercross, all the flaggies get paid.
Yes.
Whereas Hobart, Tassie, they don't.
No, but the nationals and the Supercross, look at the crowds that they get. Look at how much they pay to get in there.
But if they advertised and said, "Hey, every flaggie's going to get $100 for the day,"
yep,
I reckon you'd get more people say, "Yeah, fuck, I'll do it."
Yeah, okay, but that's true. But where do you get the $100 from? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I understand, because you've already said it costs you $200 to go racing. If it cost you $300, you just wouldn't go. You know what I mean? So then you wouldn't need any flaggies because there'd be no one competing. So it's I think that what I always tried to do at Cambridge, I always encourage people to sign up and become at least a level 1. So that A, so they had some knowledge of the rules. B, it used to give them an ownership of the track. So if a kid was pulling a one-arm wheelie through the pits, then go and tell them. Otherwise, they're too insular to go and tell anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that the more that you encourage people to become officials, the more that they're wanting to go out and be a flaggy because they know what they're doing. Because again, it's a confidence.
Yeah, that's the other big thing as well. People don't want to flag because they don't want to get close to the track, and
it's
they don't want
confidence.
To do.
It's a confidence thing, and they,
Yeah.
I remember going to a junior national. I'm not going to say where, and flaggy's briefing was, "Have you held a flag before, mate?" "Yep." "You're on number 4." That's it. And there was people out there who didn't have a clue. It was their first national, and their kids were riding, and all of a sudden their numbers being plucked out, and and mum would have to go and do it because dad's helping the kid race. So I think that the beginning of that is education for the flaggies, and I think that is a level 1 course to give them some ownership and let them know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I can't come up with anything else that apart from charging the riders more money. But I think the clubs have to be run as a business now, not as a club. They've got to be a club that makes money, and it doesn't have to be raping the same people all the time. They've got to get income streams from outside of what they do.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it's the age-old question, mate.
Yeah.
And as time's gone on, and tracks have got safer, and you got more flaggies out there, and there's more jumps and they're bigger jumps. It's just a natural progression.
Yeah.
But
I think they should do I mean, we go on about this all night, but I think they should actively have more promotions.
Yes.
And just like random promotions, it doesn't have to be anything to do with a race. It can just be a weekend.
Yep.
Just anything, and give back to riders and races, and just not even people that race, but just people that it could just be anything.
I know what you mean. I'll say again. To me, it appears that the LCBs, the local controlling bodies like MTAS, they get kicked from pillar to post because it costs so much, but it's not actually their fault because they've got to pay to a higher authority.
Yeah.
But again, there's grants out there that are available to clubs that would make it cheaper to run. That people they're apathetic. They just go, "Oh, we tried that 15 years ago and it didn't work."
Yeah, so the money's sitting there, and they
absolutely
too lazy to apply.
Yeah, but most of the club people do the same thing. They get so involved in running the club they can't look outside of it.
Yeah,
and they're it's like the old saying of, you're working for your business where your business should be working for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really and that stops a lot of people from going racing because they haven't got a flaggy.
Yeah.
So I personally like to think that lights would make a difference.
Yeah.
I've always thought that because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You still have your people running around, helping people, saving people, whatever. Yeah. But you actually have lights.
Yeah.
So
instead of a flag, you could have probably 3 guys on switches.
Yep.
In different corners of the track that can see most of.
Yeah, you'd have them in an eagle's nest somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Like from Cambridge, you can see just about the whole track.
Yeah.
And when something happens, you flick a switch and the light goes on. So that's just. I don't know how else to.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
it would cost a bit to set it up, but once it's set up, the money's going to come back on itself after years and years and years of racing.
Well, look, you're the IT in this day and age.
I'll set it up.
You'd have Bluetooth, bloody, lights down there with batteries operated or whatever that just make it. LEDs that just make a difference. Yeah. You can have them on both sides of the jump on the way up. It's they have to come up with something that's workable. Yeah. Because the current system is just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It for whatever reason, it's just slowly just dying. It's definitely not getting better.
No. Well,
unfortunately.
One of the reasons that I've always said this is the case is that 30 years ago, there was no mountain biking. Yeah. There was no skateboarding or, there was less, when you're at school you played footy or cricket. Yeah. Or soccer. Yeah. Now there's so many different things to do and it's spread out all over the place.
It's like back in the day there was Coke or Pepsi and now there's
Look, if you're trying to say I'm old, there's so many more options out there and things to do. So and it's still a cheap form of motorsport, but it's not cheap.
Yeah. I'm one of those people though. I couldn't give a fuck what it costs. I'll continue to do it until I die because I can't find nothing better. Than to spend a Saturday ride my bike.
Yeah. Well, look, I've gone from the track to, I can think of nothing better. As I said, mate, about riding across the Nullarbor. Yeah. I leave in 10 days or whatever, and I'm gone for 3 or 4 weeks. And we're just going to wander back and do our own thing, and that's my motorcycle hit for the week.
Have you got a you married partner?
I'm lucky that I've got an ex-wife that she and I get on very, very well.
So she goes with you?
No. No, but I have a relatively new partner that loves motorcycling. If that's a prerequisite. If you don't, then see you later. Shit. You like bikes? I've only been on one once. Well, that's fair enough. You want to go on another one? No, yes, please. So
how many dates have you been on in the last couple of years that they've said, nah, I hate bikes, and you say, see ya?
I can't hear you, mate. You're breaking up now. What? Oh, look, I'm not... The correct answer at this time is I can't recall your worship. is the correct answer, okay?
I've got something for you.
Uh-oh.
Got your little present.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Just a little. It's not that.
No.
that work? I've seen you hold that the whole time.
No, it's good, mate. It's good. Yeah, it's better than scratch me. Yeah.
You're a full-blooded Greek?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Can you say a few words in Greek?
Pane anamavros gila mesasur.
Does that get fucked, Hitman?
No, get a big black dog up here. Oh, here we go, baklava.
What's that called?
Oh, I call it baklava, but...
I've never had this before.
So, it's I call it baklava.
Yeah, whatever it's called. We had Greek tonight.
Yep.
And I saw that in the fridge and I thought, oh, fucking perfect. What a coincidence. Got to buy Greg some, what is it, baklava?
Baklava, yes.
Yeah, what is it? I don't even know what it is.
Oh, I think it's almond.
So it's a Biscoff what is it?
A baklava, I would call it, yes. So I have a question for you just before we go.
Yeah. Am I going or you're going?
No, mate. Yeah, mate. So, what do you do? I've never even listened to a podcast before, never ever. What happens to this now? Where does it go? You know, what should I have said? What shouldn't I have said? Who am I going to offend? I don't really give a fuck. But anyway.
So it just goes on. It goes on my channel. So it's Hitman's podcast.
Yep.
It'll go on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll break it up into little clips.
Yep.
Little funny, emotional, whatever.
Yep.
15-second, 30-second clips.
Okay.
Put a few of them out.
Yep. Get
some attention. People go, oh, fuck, I want to watch the rest of that. And then in a week's time, I'll release the full video and people can just watch it.
All right.
But podcasts are fucking huge. If you haven't picked up on it, they're massive.
Yeah, it's not something that I said I'm not technophobic, but it's just something I haven't gone to as yet. So
most people just don't understand. So I should say most people. Some people don't understand. A lot of my guests, they go, oh, you know, they just straight out to, I can't fucking talk, can't talk. But it's just, it's not an interview.
No,
it's not an interview at all. It's
the complete
opposite.
It's a chat between a couple. It's an informative chat between a couple of mates.
And I try to make it informative so that people that don't know you will still watch it.
Okay,
that's kind of the idea, you know.
Poor bastards, but anyway. Yeah. Well,
cheers, mate.
Hitman, it's been a wild ride, mate.
You've had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I just want to say it's been a pleasure knowing you, and thanks for all the opportunities and no
worries at all.
The park's honestly a godsend for me.
Well, it's you know, some people go to psychologists, some people go to bike parks.
100%.
And that's
100%.
That's what works for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely money well spent.
Right. Thanks, man.
I've brought a few new bikes and spent thousands on it, and no regrets.
No, none at all. And thanks for having me, mate. Good on you.
No worries.
Right.
Enjoy your trip. When are you going? In 2 weeks?
28th I'm going. So AFL Grand Final day. Of all days I'll be on the boat. So
well, the roads will be quiet.
Well,
that's a good thing.
Well, they're probably, yes. Is a good thing.
And if you do see people, be careful because they're probably pissed.
It wouldn't be I've never done that. But anyway.
So enjoy that trip, mate. Enjoy the rest because I'm sure you probably won't stop until you die.
I don't intend to. Don't worry. All right.
No worries.
Thanks,
Cheers.
man. Good on you.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers. Baklava.
Where's that music?
You think you know me.
Greg CASIMATY, mate. Thanks for coming in and joining me on a good chat about motocross, history of you and everything.
Pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure, mate. Good on you. Cheers. Done.